Looks like we're ready. Click here to start streaming. Here we go. Go live. Okay, excellent. We should be going live, hopefully, fairly soon. CJ, yes. Okay, right. Can anyone hear us? So let's say hi. Can you hear us? Question mark. Always a good plan. Looks like we're ready. Click here to start streaming. Here we go. Go live. Okay. Right. So we should be all right. It's
Hello,
actually,
everyone.
Yes, it is actually streaming to YouTube. That's a good start.
Okay, awesome.
We just need some viewers. Oh, hi, Take. At least
Take.
we've got somebody come to talk to us.
Yeah.
We were rather afraid we might be talking to ourselves, which would have been very sad.
That would have been fine. But yeah.
Weird. But
you can take people just a few to join. So
yeah. Oh, hello, Mr. Ice. Bye.
Hi, Mr. Ice Pie. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
We'll give it a few minutes while we all talk to ourselves and,
Yeah. So
the Stars and Stripes or the national anthem or something.
Yeah. So have you talked to any of your romantic interests today?
Yeah. One of them blocked me about half an hour ago because he tried to call me and then refused to speak because I wouldn't turn my camera on. So he accused me of being a Nigerian scammer and blocked me. Obviously, I deny. Well, obviously, I'm not Nigerian, and I deny being a scammer. Obviously. Okay, right. We're getting a few people coming on. Hello. I don't even know how you pronounce your name, whoever you are, starting with Z.
I just call him Z or Ryan. Z or Ryan.
Right.
I just been trying to bait this one romance scammer, and he just keeps getting, like I said the other day on the show, he just keeps getting mad at me for not responding fast enough.
Oh well, you don't want the clingy ones. Nobody wants a clingy boyfriend.
Yeah, he's real clingy. I think he's trying to hurry up the scam, and I'm taking too long.
Okay, look, people are joining us now. So I'll just give it another few seconds, and then and I've got to remember to keep my eye on the chat because I don't have a live chat moderator. So if anybody, yeah, I forgot. YouTube, it says, is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. It says, as such, viewers will experience buffering. Apologies for that. I have rubbish rural broadband. So hello, Justine. So I'm afraid if we're buffering,
welcome.
There's nothing I can do about it. Okay, right. Well, we'll get started. CJ Scams has come this evening to tell us, this evening UK time that is, has come to tell us about her show and about the scambaiting that she does. She very kindly invited me onto her show earlier this week. I think it was Tuesday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so this evening, she's come, instead of me talking, she's come to tell us what she does. So welcome, CJ.
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, thank you for having me. So nice to have you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you again for being on our show. It was a lot of fun having you.
It was great fun, wasn't it? I really enjoyed it. Yeah. So the kind of scam baiting that you do is, generally speaking, not the same as what I do, is it? So, would you like to start by telling us how long you've been doing scam baiting? How did you get into it?
Yeah, sure. I started in last July. So I'm about 10 months into it. I started on Genesis Floods, which is a hey New Moon, which is a stream where you can call into one central number and then he routes the phone calls for you to scammers. so you don't have to like take any risk with your own number. And I thought it was a great way to start.
Yeah.
So I started that way. So he does mostly like corporate scammers like Amazon, eBay, PayPal, a few PCH, although he wouldn't let me do those at first. Um, and let's like generally ones like that, SSA, basically ones that are phone based.
Yeah.
And so that's how I kind of got started, and I did it for a few weeks and kind of started my channel. And yeah, here I am 10 months later, and it's still kicking.
And has what you do changed at all since you started?
I would say yes, because when I first started, um, I was like, well, of course, I didn't know what I was doing. Not that I do now, but I know more than I did. But when I first started, I just basically, I just did nothing but try to have conversations with them every single time. Like, tell me why you're doing this. Like I didn't really do a lot of pretending to be a character. I was just like, why are you doing this? Let's talk about it. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Kind of interview styles with them basically. And then now I still do that. But I let that form more naturally instead of trying to push it. And I do now more the longer baits where I get information. Like I'm getting probably average around 10 bank accounts per week that I'm reporting. Websites that we're reporting, Google Forms and stuff like that. But I do still kind of do the interview one. I enjoy. Hey Betty, thanks for joining us. I enjoy talking to the scammers. I try to treat them as a person, see if they'll talk to me. Of course, though, it doesn't always work. So that's why I've kind of shifted to the where I'm pretending to be a real victim from when I first started. So,
do you find, as I do, that if you just try to talk to them and knowing that they're scammers, that they have what I call the Plan B sob story? Because you tend to interact with the call centres, don't you?
Yeah, mostly call centers. I do. It's probably not as much as romance scammers have, because they generally, have like literally written out scripts that all of them use the same script. Yeah. However, I think if you were going to say they have a plan B, their plan B is several things. One, they'll turn to like threats. If you don't cooperate and give us the money you owe us, so to speak, we'll lock your computer, we'll lock your bank accounts, we'll send the police. Like that's kind of their plan B. Like there's not a whole lot of scammers that start with that kind of approach. They usually do it when they think you're not going to cooperate or you're questioning them. Then they turn to that threatening mode. Yeah. Or of course they try the bonding thing with me. Like they try that on me. Like they're trying to social engineer me. Like I love you. You're like my, like they'll either like you're special. You could be my wife. Like they almost turn into romance scammers or like family scammers. Like that's also another plan B if they just think you're not being cooperative. Or if you're like suspicious of them, that's the other thing I think that they do.
Yeah.
To try to
the intimidation tactics that some of the romance scammers use.
Yeah, exactly. It's just probably maybe a different form, but I feel like the romance scammers, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like they kind of do the whole like, if you don't help me, I'm going to die. I'm going to be stuck in jail and I'm going to starve. Like they play on your sympathy. Yes. And then a lot of the call center ones play more on fear. Like, if you don't give me my money, if you don't give us the money, you're going to be arrested. You're going to go to jail. Your social security number will be compromised. Like they play more, I think, on fear, but I'm sure all of them do different stuff, but I would just say generally speaking, seems that way.
Yeah.
You know.
So you not only do YouTube like I do, but you also do Twitch, don't you?
Yes, I'm on Twitch on Mondays and Wednesdays, and basically I started doing Twitch because I thought, well, I'm baiting anyway, and instead of just, it's too hard to edit every single conversation or interaction I have into videos because it's just so time consuming editing videos. So I thought, instead of trying to put out everything I'm doing, I might as well just stream it live. And then whoever wants to watch can watch. And, there's so many people to watch. I don't, I understand like some people might be busy or watching other people, but anyone that wants to can. And then that way I don't feel like a lot of good stuff that I don't have time to edit into videos is still out there. But the last couple of weeks I've been doing a lot of baiting off stream, and that's just because it is more time consuming and more work to do it on stream, obviously, because instead of just kind of doing what I want to do with the bait, I kind of have to worry about the audience. I have to make sure my screen is blocked. I have to make sure my sound is muted. And it's, it can be hard too. So I'm trying to just have a balance there where I'm streaming some stuff, but if I just want to do a quick call, I don't feel like I can't because I don't have time to stream. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. And also with the romance stuff, it's not so easy to predict. At least when you're phoning the call centers, you can call them to order. If you've got a bit of romance stuff going on, it's not so easy to know when they're going to call you.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, this one, that is easier because they work a pretty predictable schedule, which is around 11 a.m. to 11 or 12 our time until like 6 to 7 is usually when we're working. I have a lot of trouble finding one after 6 p.m. a lot of times. Or if they do answer, they'll push you off till tomorrow because a lot of the ones I talk to end up being from India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, and they're like 10 hours ahead of us. So it's like 5 a.m. their time when it's 7 p.m. here.
Right.
So they're ready for bed.
So they're all working the night shift anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. They work the night shift, which is our day shift.
Yeah.
We actually have a scammer that had to work night shift. And that's basically why he ended up being in the scam call center, because the train system there is so difficult and dangerous, and he's disabled. He only has one hand. So he couldn't literally take the train during the day. So he was not forced to. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying it's another thing I didn't think of till I met him. He ended up having to work at night, try to find a night job. And that was the only one he could find because he couldn't take the train during the day. So it's just really interesting, all those circumstances that lead people down this terrible path.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael, Vic.
So what got you into scambaiting?
It was just more. I'm just more of a fan turned fan turned amateur.
Yeah.
Because I ended up just getting a video recommended to me, a pierogi video. I started with Scammer Payback. Yeah. And then once I started watching him, I was like, whoa, people do this. And then I started seeing that there's more people. And then I realized there's a whole group of small channels that do it. And then I ended up finding Genesis Floods, and I was like, okay, well, I'll try it. It seems safe. And then once I started doing it, I just basically got addicted to it. Yes. I was just, it was funny because I think Take and I were talking about, hey, Asha, Little Piece, New Moon, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much, Take. That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah. I was just telling, I was telling my parents the other day, and I think Take and I had talked about it before too, that sometimes when I'm like in bed or lonely and I'm like, or bored, or I'm just like, I feel like talking to someone, I literally look for scammers to chat with. So that's what my life has become. Like, scammers are like also in my social life. I'm like, I feel like chatting with someone. Who should I pick? And I usually look for a scammer.
I thought I was a sad person.
I've gotten addicted to talking to scammers. There's just something about it that's fun and exciting, but then you get like some joy from it, like you feel like you're doing good, So
Well, you can certainly get a good laugh out of some of them, or certainly out of some of the ones that I talked.
yeah, and now that I have the show with Take Two, that just brings a whole different dimension because I love doing that as well. I really enjoy promoting other people, talking to them, learning from them. Every single person that we've had on the stream, and I'm not exaggerating, every single one I've learned something about scam baiting that's made me a better scam baiter or more aware of the issue of scams or anything. So just having that outlet now to talk to people, I really enjoyed it. It's just been really awesome and fun.
Yeah. And you meet people. I mean, I'm not talking about the scammers. I'm talking about your fellow scam baiters. I'm sure we all meet in little groups, don't we? Not necessarily the same groups.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I I don't really have so much a group. Of course, Take and I are friends. I'm also friends with Sven from How to Delete. Those are my main two scam baiters I talk to a lot. Scammer Takeout's one of our friends. Betty, Mary, all of the mods. I guess we do have a group, but but it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun having all these people that care about the same cause as you.
Yeah. And also, I found someone to talk to if something happens during a bait that you're not expecting, or it gets more serious than it usually does. You've got someone to bounce it off and take advice from.
Oh yeah, or I just bring in the troops and if someone there's only been a couple of times where the scammers got to me. Usually it was because I just wasn't having a good day or something. Or, I'm human like everyone else. I might be having a rough day. And I probably shouldn't have talked to them that day because I wasn't really mentally up for it, but I did anyway. So there was only a couple of times that they got to me. And or if they're just, I don't know, they just need a good cursing out. I got several. I'll call Take first, and then if I want it in Hindi, I call Sven. So that's the reason I'm friends with them, as they'll finish off my baits with style. So
yeah, I don't very often lose it with scammers myself, but sometimes you do, and at least because you've been talking to a scammer, you don't feel guilty about it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm not condoning obviously the way that sometimes a lot of the way that I interact with them is not how I interact with anybody in real life.
No.
I've said before that sometimes the conversations get adult. I purposely allow that because I don't want them to think that they are have any control over me or anything that they say bothers me or affects me. So I just go with the flow no matter what happens. Yeah. And in real life, that wouldn't go on. In real life, if somebody said some of the stuff to me that they said, they would probably get punched, or I certainly wouldn't talk to them again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Most of the people that watch my channel know my channel does not have adult content at all. I try to keep it family friendly for several reasons. One is that somebody once commented that their 5-year-old granddaughter watches the show. The second is that for some, my perverted sense of humour. Oh, thank you so much, New Moon Rising. My perverse sense of humour says that a romance scam with channel without the sex in it is, I don't know, just appeals to my perverse sense of humour. And the third reason is that, as you can see, I'm a woman of a certain age and probably more than twice CJ's age. And mostly the people that I'm talking to are young enough to be probably my grandsons. And trust me, that's just not a very appealing thought. So anything that gets a bit near the knuckle, it doesn't, not to say it doesn't happen, but it gets cut out. So it doesn't appear on the channel.
100%.
Oh, thank you so much, Betty.
Yeah, thank you, Betty. I totally understand that. I am one that I just let everyone do their baits the way they want to and totally respect that. Like 100%. I think there's no rules in scam baiting. I really don't. I think everybody has different stuff to offer and we should all do it the way we want, the way we're comfortable. And it's awesome that it's not like everybody else. You know, I'm definitely not saying that anyone has to do what I do or that it's the right way. It's just, that's why I like to choose it. I've always been super stubborn. Yeah. So if I feel like someone's trying to control me, yeah, if I feel like someone's trying to control me, I purposely like want them to feel like they have no power. It's just like some stubbornness in me. I'm a Taurus. I guess that's why. I just had my birthday in April pretty much a few days ago. And so I got that Taurus stubbornness in me.
Well, I'm also, let's say, known for being able to, ever since I was a child, for standing up for myself and, not giving in to bullies. And I hope that's something that people can take from your show as a woman, because I think the male scam baiters outweigh the female scam baiters, don't they? And I think it's nice that the female scam baiters, hopefully, the female viewers who perhaps might otherwise give in to pressure can learn by listening to shows like yours that they don't have to, and take from the way you treat the people that you're talking to some lessons on how they can behave if they get into a similar situation.
Oh, well, I mean, I certainly would love that. But I know I'm not always a great example because I do at times, play extra vulnerable, I go with what they say, do what they say, because it's just part of the end game to get some information out of them, keep them busy, that kind of thing. But I do I do think it's good. Like there's many people that play awesome women, like Kit Boga, he does several great women. Scammer Takeout does an awesome woman. Lots of people do great women. But it is different to kind of be a woman and have, different feelings and different outlooks and stuff like that are, harder to act. So, I think it's good to have a variety of all kinds of people, but I'm definitely feel lucky that I have a little bit something different to bring. Although there's other women that do it. I'm not saying I'm the only one, but we are outnumbered.
Yes. And everybody does it differently, which is also nice, I think, because we are all different, obviously. So everybody does it their own way. And I think it is nice that a lot of your shows you do with, you call him Take, but he's actually Tagao, isn't he? Take a glass of water. So you have the sort of balancing act, really, the male and female.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun sometimes when we can get a good thing going, like either we're married or like we had a really good, our longest one, we were actually married. It was like an hour and a half. We baited someone married. But then also a lot of times he comes in and he's like the hacker or, just all kinds of things like, he'll come in and rage at the end, and it really works out good. Having that, the balance and, cause I can usually hook him and then he can finish him off, and make him feel like dirt. So it works out good.
If you need any diamond rings, Take, for the proposal, I obviously have a vast collection these days. They're always being sent to me. It's obviously I'm some kind of magnet for them. So how do you see your channel developing? Do you have any plans to grow or
Yeah,
change?
I have some plans. There's a very big project, if you want to say, that I'm working on, that I can't give a lot of details about right now. But we'll be having some details soon. By the way, Little Peace, in case anyone doesn't know, Little Peace is also an awesome woman scambaiter.
Apologies if you can hear ringing. My telephone's ringing. Didn't do
that. No problem.
It's all right, I'll ignore it.
We don't care. Yeah, we don't care. So yeah, I have one big project I'm working on, and I want to continue. I guess I basically want to continue both branches of my channel, if you want to say that. I'm hoping Take and I Show can. I want Take and I Show to kind of be not only educational for scam baiting, but also kind of a point to grow the audience, because we can all, post our videos for awareness and stuff, but if we're not expanding our audience, then new people aren't learning from it,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that Take and I Show will kind of continue to help us expand, which, by the way, our video, our morning show is uploaded on podcast streams like it's on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and we're actually ranked. We're ranked number 121 on Apple Podcasts.
Awesome.
Which I was happy about that. Yeah. I was happy. I think in the comedy genre, but still I was happy we even got on the ranking. Even though it's low, still we're on the ranking technically. And then and then I want to continue to expand my knowledge of how to investigate this stuff and how are we gonna fix this problem. I mean, doing this scam baiting is amazing. Like, it makes such a difference. But what else more can we do? And that's what I've been trying to focus on. Like, how else can we use this to make a difference? We know every time we stream and every time you bait someone, you're keeping them occupied from scamming anyone else, which is amazing and so helpful. I just want to keep thinking of other ways to keep doing more,
It was on your show, I think. Was it either yesterday or the day before or something, where somebody said that the Indian call centres are finding it harder to find real victims these days because of the awareness that you're all raising about them. Was it on your show?
No. Maybe. I feel like I did hear that. I think wasn't that the scammer talking to Take, maybe? I think that was the scammer telling Take, where there was a clip of Take. I don't know. But I did hear that recently too. Hey, the innovator. We know that too, because I basically have a population in India of friends now. Some of them are ex-scammers, if you want to call it that. There's about 5 that I've helped reform from scamming that aren't scamming anymore.
Brilliant.
And then I have one insider, if you want to call it that. He still works in the call centers, but he actually works with the police, and he tries to give me information too. So all of them I've confirmed with all of them that the scam baiting is definitely making a difference. Because one, it's just costing them more money to run their business. And even if that doesn't shut it down, still it hurts them. We want them to we want to try to hurt their bottom line as much as possible. I think. So, just taking money away from them.
If it gets to the point where it's not economically viable for them, some of the centers will shut, won't they?
Yeah, and exactly. And I think some smaller ones, that's happened to them. The bigger ones, where, the dent isn't big enough yet, but any dent is a dent. Yes. And we'll just keep on making dents until the dent is big enough that more and more are stopping, is, I think, something that we all want.
Yes.
So I think it's awesome. And I just want to keep focusing on that. And I think the way that I'm going to focus on it too is both Americans and the people in the other countries, Nigerians that aren't scammers, the Indians that aren't scammers, all of the countries don't have enough awareness of what's going on. You know, there's so many families in India that the scammers in the family, and they have no idea. You know, and if they knew, they could try to help that person do something better with their life, but they don't know. You know, and the Indians that are around them don't know. Like, they think that this person works at night with the US customer service. That's awesome, you know, and they get praised and everything else. So everybody in the world just needs more awareness, I think, and that would help too.
Several years ago now, long before I got into Scambaiting, I had a call from one of the call centres, Indian call centres, and it was a lady. And at the end of the call, I said to her, how does it feel going to work every day knowing that you're stealing money from people? No, knowing that you're scamming people. And I was expecting a sob story about having to feed her children and all that kind of stuff. But what she actually said to me was, oh, she said, I'm proud of it because nowadays most people don't know it's a scam. Well, this was a few years ago.
Yeah, I could totally see that. I know, I'm sure that's true. And that's what I've been talking to, because one of our friends is in Calcutta. Calcutta is actually an extremely wonderful city. They have a very diverse religious groups. Like, they have a lot of Christians there, Muslims there, Hindus there. Like, they all get along well. The crime is extremely low. It's actually the safest place in India, Calcutta. They have very good politicians there that have like done great things with the city, and it's very like clean and nice and touristy. But they have a large population of scams. So how is this dynamic going on in the same town? It's not a city that's I mean, there is poverty there, of course, but there's poverty in every large city, you know, everywhere in the world. So it's just something that I want to work on in the future somehow. I don't know how, but you know, just trying to bring more awareness everywhere will definitely help. You know, help the problem, I think, long term.
Which is the bottom line of what Scambaiting, well, certainly that's why I do it, is raising awareness. Well, I'll be honest, I guess there is an element of you having a bit of fun. Like you said, it does get a bit addictive.
It's fun sometimes. Other times it's infuriating. Like, it brings out like some anger inside of you that you didn't know that was there, when you think like, and they're doing this to me. They've done this to other people in real life.
Yes.
And if you like dwell on it, you get super angry. It's just it's definitely a weird way to spend our lives, I think. But that's how I'm spending it now. I mean, I spend like, I'm basically doing this full time now. Between editing, Twitch, working on the morning show, working on my other big project, I'm doing this full time. So it's a weird way to spend my life.
This is going to become, in effect, your job, because I'm retired, personally. And so, yes, it is becoming a full-time job for me, but I do have other things that I do. But do you think that for you, it's going to become your full-time job?
I mean, that would be good. You know, I'm just just honestly and realistically, I'll be totally honest with you. I quit my job. I had the same job for over 5 years. I left my job because I was in a period of my PhD that was very busy, and it was just very stressful. So I was going to just take a break from my PhD, take a break from work, do my PhD for a few months, and then go back to the same company I was at for 5 years. You know, that was my plan. And then I just started in the Scambaiting. Well, I mean, I'm a person like everyone else, and I'm almost getting to the point where that's not sustainable for me to just survive, because I have to, you know, like, pay for a car, pay you know what I mean? All this stuff that people have to do.
Absolutely.
So, so I don't know how much longer I'll be able to do it at the level that I'm doing it now, just because it's, it's getting harder and harder to, meet my daily, just normal living expenses. But, I'm definitely looking at ways to balance it, with either part-time jobs or overnight jobs that I could do both. And then I'll just, take it day by day, see what the future holds,
Yeah. You might
But I
become the
would
next.
love it.
You might become the
Yeah.
next pierogi if you do it for long enough.
Maybe. I don't know about that, but
He was only a small channel when I started watching him, and look where he is now.
Yeah, that's true. You never know what could happen. I'm still hoping that ABC picks up Take and I Show, and we have the morning scam show on ABC or something.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, you never know, right?
Well, I think it'd be brilliant. Unfortunately, I don't have any
figure out
contacts.
how to. Yeah. There's got to be some channel out there that's like TBS or something that's just showing. I don't know what kind of channels you have in the UK, but in the US we have a whole bunch of channels that are like they basically just play reruns of old shows all the time, like TBS and TV Land. Like they could use a great morning show to liven up their lineup. So if any of y'all are watching from one of these channels, reach out to me. We could talk.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? And while you're obviously, because you're now watching both of us, I'm available too.
Yeah, and Annie's also available. So so we'll see. I mean, Kid Boga has a show on TV now. I haven't watched it yet.
Really?
I just heard about it. Yeah, it's like a cartoon version. It's like an adult cartoon,
Right.
for adults. Where they basically animate his calls. And it's some kind of cartoon. It's on TV. Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't actually seen it yet. Has anybody in chat seen that one? I don't even know what it's called. But I heard about it when he first got the deal.
Get something like your show on mainstream TV or even a mainstream radio program, you'd reach a much greater audience. And by which I mean not necessarily just more people, but you would be engaging with people that are not necessarily internet savvy. And I suspect that they are the people that are more likely to fall for these scams, the people that are not internet savvy and therefore are never going to be watching you or me or anyone else on YouTube or Twitch or Discord or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely true because there's a lot of us in chat. YouTube is our primary source of television, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But there's still lots of people out there, at least in the US, that aren't like that. They have cable or satellite. They're not watching YouTube.
Yeah.
So they're not getting exposed to all that. And that's exactly why I want to keep growing. It has nothing to do with judging success by numbers. It has to do with we want to be teaching people this. And they might not learn, maybe they don't learn something from me. But by clicking on my video, YouTube will recommend other scam baiters, and one of them will be the one that they get, that they'll click with. That's why it's great to have a variety.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a cumulative effect, isn't it? They've seen your show or seen one of your videos, and then one of their friends says to them, "Oh, are you sure you're not being scammed?" And then they start putting two and two together and start thinking, "Well, actually, isn't that what I was just watching on YouTube the other day?"
Right, exactly. And so that's why I think it would be great to get into mainstream TV more, to get that audience that's not on YouTube. But, that is obviously that's not something I can make happen. That's pretty lofty goal.
Well, maybe you need to approach the programs, write to, I don't know what stations you have, the morning show on CBC or something. No, that's Canadian, isn't it? ABC, close. Um,
I agree, Z. Ryan makes a good point about the FBI and scam baiting. Like, we had a cop on, I think 2 weeks ago now, and he talked about how the cops and stuff are not against scam baiting. It's just they're bound by all kinds of particular laws. There has to be victims from this and that. You know what I mean? Like, and they have so much other stuff to do. Like, they're just like everyone else, understaffed. So it's just definitely a problem as far
yeah,
as the government goes.
yeah.
At least in the US. It's
Oh,
not that they don't care or they're against scam baiting. I don't think that's true. I mean, I'm sure some are in the world, but I don't think most would be. And I just saw a news article actually getting passed around. Did you see about the Nigerian that being what's the word? What's the word when you get like thrown out of a country and you have your home country and you have to go to the other country to face charges? What's that word? I forget. Expedited.
uh,
He's been expedited from Nigeria to the US to face charges. Did you see
extradited,
that?
yes.
Yeah,
Extradition.
extradited.
Yeah.
Extradited. That's it. Well, I was like looking more into that. Like, why him? Why is he the one that's doing it? Well, the reason is because he was actually in the US when he was doing the romance scams. So that's why they're prosecuting him in the US for it.
Yeah. Because
You
they
know?
actually have victims and a perpetrator of the crime in their country. When it's the problem is that most of them are international, and unless your country, whatever your country you're in, has some kind of reciprocal arrangement with the country that the scammer is in, it's I think it's hard for them. There's just
Yeah.
been somewhere. Was that in the US or the UK? It might have been in the UK. Recovering a large amount of cryptocurrency from a scammer,
Hmm. That's awesome.
which is unusual. But again, they're only. It's hard for them because obviously they've got. I won't say more serious crimes, but if I think I said on your show, didn't I? If two people come into your police station and one says, "I've just lost $10,000 to a scammer in somewhere overseas," and the other says, "My neighbour's got a gun and he's just shot my husband," you know, what are the police going to? Which one's the police going to go to?
Yeah,
And
it's very
all
true.
police forces internationally are stretched to the limit and underfunded, aren't they?
Hmm. Yeah, that's so true. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll add that to my list of dreams. Maybe one day we can work more with the police. I know that there's other scam baiters that have FBI connections and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily it doesn't I mean, it's always awesome to report it, but it's not necessarily the main thing that's making an impact, in my opinion. Just because, like our cop said on the line a few weeks ago, yeah, the FBI would love the reports, but they're only going to do it if it's in some kind of bigger puzzle. If it's a piece of a bigger puzzle, they're not going to do each individual incident of scams because they just can't do it. They don't have the time and resources. If it fits in a bigger puzzle, they'll do it. So I definitely think awareness, education, and stuff like that is the best way that
Yes.
um, we can make an impact on individual citizens.
Yes.
So, and that's true of the countries that scam as well. Like I said, those countries are unaware. I'm sure there is plenty of people in India that would be totally repulsed if they learned what the scammers were doing to the Americans and the consequences of it. Because there's a lot of people now that have extremely poor viewpoints of a whole country because of them, which isn't fair, but that's just how people are.
Yeah.
And they would hate that if they knew it, but they don't know that it
Yeah.
goes on, you know?
Yeah. And that's very sad. I think that a
Yeah.
small, minority tarnishes the reputation of an entire country.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely not not good. I mean, like Deo puts it, Deo says, thinking of, let's say, Nigeria, saying all Nigerians are scammers is like saying all Americans are school shooters. You know, when you think of it that way as an American, like that really is convicting, because I don't obviously would never want to be as portrayed like that or labeled like that, because it's so horrible, you know. So I thought that was a great way to put it. But
so what else can I ask you? Hey, has anybody in the comments got any questions that they would like to ask CJ?
Yeah. I would love to.
What would you like to ask CJ, guys? So when I'm not looking at you, I've got another monitor over there, which you're on. The comments are on this. It's not a good idea, really, is it? But anyway.
I understand, because I have 2 monitors for my streaming computer, and then I have a separate laptop, and on my laptop I just usually put the stream, so I got 2 computers going now.
A few weeks ago, the FBI and Jamaican authorities had worked for years in collaboration against PCH lottery scams, but they got no results at all because they keep changing the scams and adapting. Yes.
Yeah, it's so true. Yes. And I'm sorry, but the FBI, like, sure, they have pull on other countries, but they can't force another country to follow our laws or to do things the way we want to. Like, we could try to build those relations, but, you know, the FBI can't call the Indian cyber police and say, y'all need to do something about this person. He's scamming Americans. Well, they can ask them that, but they can't make them, you know, because they have no authority over the Indian cyber police. So that's definitely why I think this is such a tricky issue, and why so many people are getting scammed, because it's just prosecution. I just don't think is the way out of it, in my opinion, just because of other things. Yeah. Cake or pie? That's a tough one. I'll say pie. I love chocolate mousse pie. That's my favorite.
That's obviously an in question or an in joke, is it?
No. I think she was just wondering if I like cake or pie better. I guess. So,
I picked it was an in joke on your show or something.
I like both, but I'll say chocolate mousse pie.
And I'll just have anything with chocolate in it. Hey, who cares?
Yeah.
How do you know if you've run into a scammer? I do a scammer. I've been running into scammers on Instagram, Nigerian scammers pretending to be Nigerian entertainers.
That's a good question.
I'm not sure really that it's appropriate for me to answer that now, because this show is really about interviewing CJ. But I am planning at some stage to do either a live or a video, an educational one on. I mean, I've done 10 ways to spot a romance scammer and another 10 ways to do a romance scammer. But I might do a live session on how to know if you're talking to a scammer. Has anyone got any more questions for CJ?
Yeah, and don't you have some educational videos? You have some educational videos on your channel that they can watch now. So we always want to encourage that. It doesn't matter who's on.
Yeah, who else?
I do like cats. I do like cats. I used to have a cat named Katie, but she ran away.
I have an incontinent cat with a spinal injury on my hands at the moment, but she's shutting the kitchen.
Oh, that's so sad. I hate to hear that. But I do have 2 dogs. I could say both dog. I like dogs and cats. Just bring different dynamics to households, I think. So I like both.
Scandals Undercover has got a question for you. When you scambait, do you keep in mind that you're talking to criminals, or do you just turn that off and do your thing?
It kind of depends on the situation. Like there's some points, like people in my chat now, they call it CJing. There's at some point where I like almost hit this brick wall, and I'm like, this person is a disgusting piece of crap. I can't take it anymore. I can't date them anymore. Like, I can't be nice or patient to them anymore. Like, sometimes I hit that wall when they're just, like, I hit that wall sometimes because it is disgusting. But sometimes I just get so caught up in this little skit that I'm doing, which is basically what I'm doing, that I forget. I'm not consciously thinking about the fact that they're criminal jerks. I'm just like in the skit, if you want to call the bait the skit, you know?
Yeah.
And then like I said, other times I completely lose my patience and I either go off on them or I have someone else come in and go off on them because I just like hit a wall and I can't be polite to them anymore. And a lot of times I hit that wall when they are trying to empty my bank account. Like I told this guy last week, he thought I had $65,000. I told him that I pay for cancer treatments for somebody just to see how he would react. It's not true. It's just like a story. And he didn't care. He still wanted me to send him 63 out of my $65,000. Like he just wanted to clean me out. And the thought of how him doing that to someone, like it just made me hit that CJ wall of anger, like losing my patience and being done with them because it's just so disgusting and sad. So it happens sometimes. I try to control it, but Take likes it when I hit the wall. It is usually the 2 to 3 hour mark. But I try to be as patient and like a regular victim as long as I can. I do.
New Moon Rising has a very serious question for you. I'm sure you've seen it. New Moon Rising says, what do you really think of Tagal? Tagal, of course, is not listening, so you can say anything that you like.
Well, I'll tell y'all the truth about Tagal, okay?
Go on then. We're all
in. So Take and we're really good friends. We haven't actually met in person yet. But we are close friends. He is a really genuine guy, nice guy. The way that he talks to scammers is not how he would ever talk to people in real life. He's a really caring person. He's a good guy. I can't say anything bad about him. So.
Yeah.
Not that we don't get on each other's nerves from time to time, but it's not too often.
Yeah. Little Peace says, what got me started in Scambaiting? I'll just tell you very briefly, but if you go off and watch CJ's show, which I was on, I think I explained it, didn't I, on there? So go and watch CJ's show that I was on. But I used to be an adult education teacher teaching IT to adults. And so I ran an anti-scam blog for many years, decided I'd start a YouTube channel, rapidly found out that people really are terribly interested in all the stuff I was doing about fake PayPal emails and all the stuff everybody knows about. And it just morphed into romance scamming completely by accident when I put up some of the comments that people had left me over the years. And it was just a complete accident. Any more questions for CJ? Volume down. Tagal says, I'll let you discuss that with him in private.
Y'all are funny. One of the funnest parts of streaming is just people like are hilarious in the chat. They say all kinds of stuff that I would never even think of. Especially DA. I don't see DA here, but DA is the king of like one-liners, and he's just hilarious. So it is fun live chatting with people.
I have a question. Did you get your ring yet? I presume that's directed at me.
Now I know what she's talking about.
And
definitely not. Yeah, she's talking to me.
All right.
We'll move on from that one.
And then Mr. Unpronounceable, one of these days, if I get close enough to the second monitor, I'll be able to see what your name really is. What's your favourite scam situation, CJ?
My favorite one is I like it when I can bond with them in a social engineering way, and then they open up and trust me. My favorite is if I can get them to trust me and then they give me information. Like I've been telling there's a large group of scambaiters like Jim Browning, Scambaiter, and people like that their main thing is, I won't say the H word, but rhymes with chacking. And that's how they scam bait. Well, I've got a lot of information when I can get them to bond with me and open up. It takes longer sometimes, but I do like it that way. Like when I can kind of social engineer them into giving me, like, we're bonded, they're like telling me stuff and opening up. And I guess I like that interview kind of style where they're teaching me about scams and they're not really thinking about what they're doing,
Yeah.
So I guess I'm bonding with people.
I'm just typing a comment if I can spell casserole.
Yeah, he's definitely a softie scammer takeout.
Hang on just a second. One of my neighbours is just knocking on my window.
Oh yeah, sure. Tell her hi. Him or her hi.
It's all right. Sorry. I need a big sign, don't I? Do not phone. Do not knock on the door. Go away.
Yeah. That's it, Mr. I. Like when it gets psychological, that's when I like it. Psychology is a great tool. That's it. Yeah. So of course, that's just probably more area of comfort. I've never done anything with like computers. Like I've never had any kind of computer IT job. Like Pierogi was in IT before this. Right. Kit has a lot of IT. Yeah. Obviously Jim Browning, Scambaiter, they know their IT. I have zero IT experience. So it's not as comfortable for me, but like just chatting with men about their love lives is normal for me. So I guess that's probably why it works. Why I like it.
Yeah, I was watching one earlier on today with, you know Cora at Her Corner, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Where she was doing one, as I say, mine's a family-friendly show, so she was trying to keep it family-friendly. It was hilarious. Talking to a fake pills pharmacy person.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
A certain type of pill. Mm-hmm. Go and look her up. Cora's at Her Corner.
Yep. Yeah, I have a pharmacy scammer. Take just talked to him yesterday on the morning show that I've been talking to for 4 or 5 months. And so I'm about to basically we're like, he's one that's I don't know if you want to call it scammer turned friend. Like he's not really my friend and I'm not really his friend because he's a scammer. So you can't trust anything he says or anything he does. But I mean, we have pleasant conversation. We check on each other. How are you doing type thing. But I'm about to place an order with him. I figured out a way that I can place an order that's safe for me.
Yeah.
And not illegal. So we're going to see if once I place the order, if I actually get any product. I think that would really help because once I either will or won't get the product. If I don't get the product, then I can easily file a report, like a complaint on the company, which might help somebody else if they try to Google the company, to see that there's complaints against them. But also it might help us understand the pharmacy scam better. So I'm going to be doing that soon. So I'm excited about that. What's the red pill,
Z? Yeah, I know about the blue pills. But
yeah, we know the blue pills.
those pills don't work. Tagawa assures us because a friend told him I'm
yeah. That's true, buddy. Laws is dirty.
Yeah. If you like dirty talk, watch LAZ or Mr. Scambait.
Yeah.
Sadly and unfortunately, I probably can't invite on here, but.
Yeah, there's a lot of dirty ones out there. Like I said, I respect them all. I understand. And the worst thing you can do to scam baiters is judge what you think they're really like based on their baits. For one, I lie just as much as the scammers do when I scam bait. Anything I tell them is probably not true. Like I lie about my name, my occupation, my age, my relationship status, my family, everything you could think of, I lie about. So, please don't look at any of our lives and say like, oh, well, she told the scammer. Actually, Take is the one that kind of taught me this because he had told a scammer that, and then I asked him later, well, like, don't you believe this? I heard you say that. And then Take was like, I said it to a scammer. You should know that doesn't reflect my true values. And that's definitely true for me. The only thing that I preserve about me that I will never lie about is my religious beliefs, to not into like political points, but just the point that I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus as the only God, and that's the only thing that I won't lie about. But everything else, don't ever believe anything that I say. I've told him I've had cancer. I've told him that I was pregnant. I told him that I'm married to an Indian. I've told them all kinds of stuff. So never believe anything I say on the air, except for that. That's the only thing that I
And don't believe anything I say. Well, except that I'm female, obviously.
Yeah, I am female. I am female. You can believe that. But other than that, that's about it. Nothing else I ever say is true.
I bet you've been taking the pills. Apparently, her face has gone red. Perhaps it's as well you didn't take the blue pills, Betty. That could have been serious. Could have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've done an hour. So thank you so much for coming to join us, CJ. It's been great fun. And I hope everybody in the chat and that hasn't been taking part in the chat but has been listening has enjoyed the show. And if you haven't already subscribed to CJ, which I suspect most of you already have, the link to her YouTube channel and the link to her Twitch channel should both be in the information box underneath the video, as well as they've been on the screen. But I know that's tedious because you've got to type it all in, whereas you can just copy and paste it from the box. So thank you very much for joining us, CJ.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was super fun talking to you. And thanks again for coming on our show.
It was fun too.
Such a pleasure.
Next up, when I can get him to actually contact me, will be Tagao. So there you go.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Hopefully Tagao, please reach out because I want to hear when they ask you what you really think about me. I want to hear that answer. So
absolutely. So whoever asks that, join me when I'm interviewing Tagao, and you can ask. Love my brain.
Yeah, what does he really think about CJ?
What he really thinks of CJ.
Yeah, I look forward to that. But he has a whole week to prepare an answer, so that's kind of not fair. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was so great having everybody. Thank y'all so much for joining us.
Yes, thanks everybody, and goodbye. And this is always the awkward bit, isn't it? It's like the Zoom meetings. Everybody going goodbye while somebody's going, where's the off button? Hang on. I think it might be this one down here. Let's see what happens. It is, yes. Okay then. Bye everyone.